everybody, Spectre Senence here again with Spectre Wile. Pretty unique situation here for here on this channel. Is usually I'm doing the unboxings or my brother doing a little bit on his own, some different unique stuff. But Spectre Wile is here to do an unboxing because he's picked up something pretty amazing, which you can see on the title, is Deadzone.
Yep, the new Mantic game, Deadzone, the urban combat like gang style fight. And it's something we've been kind of excited about.
Yep.
We missed out on the Kickstarter, but definitely now that it's up and available, we picked it up. So I went out and got it, pulled in the box today, and so we've got a couple of different things to show you as we unbox it. We've got the full box set, which...
Check it out right here, show it.
It's a fairly large and significant sized box. There's tons of stuff in it according to the stuff on the outside. As you can see, the plastic's still on it, so we haven't even looked at it ourselves yet. Very excited to show you fresh out of the box our own reactions. Because the box set comes with one of the factions that I was interested in playing anyway, we picked up the other faction, the Rebels, or Rebs, which is a multi-species guerrilla style force. Their gang style is on the fringes, hiding out.
Very Rebel Alliance, Star Wars. The information I'm getting from Mantic, it's the races that have been oppressed by the human corporation. So they're looking to try to make their niche a living and fight back any best way they can. What brought me onto this, what Spectre Wile kind of mentioned, is not only is Mantic rising in the ranks of popularity, the game system is a little different because every faction is going to have their own agenda. It's not, and that's the cool thing about that's in these little things, that this has a separate pack deck added to this. This has the two for each two factions that are going on that, and the Marauders are another fourth faction that has their own. Meaning, whatever the Rebels are doing is not exactly what the Plague is kind of doing. They have what they want to do. I want to do. So ours, when we go into an encounter, there's going to be different objectives. I thought that was pretty different. Where most things are set by scenarios, recover this object, assassinate some general. We both seem to be doing at the same time. That's not going to be the case in this game, which makes it a very, very exciting thing to get into.
Yeah, as we understand it, the cards play to a bit of randomness in the game itself, and then the missions that are part of each faction's deck are also something that you semi-randomly draw. There's 7 or 8 missions, so you draw the card that determines your mission at the beginning of the game, and you don't let your opponent know what it is. So you're trying to accomplish your mission in the game and play on the board. At the same time, you're trying to figure out what your opponent's trying to do and prevent him from doing it. Because the point where you accomplish your mission, apparently, is when the game ends. So you accomplish it, you flip your card over. If you both agree that the mission has been accomplished, then that wins the game right there. So it could happen first turn, it could happen later in the game, it appears.
And on this box it says 2 players, about 60 minutes, so that's also great game time. Well, let's get into this, because
I don't know that includes setup.
Maybe not.
Because the terrain seems to be a little piecemeal complicated, and there's a lot of it, so I'm sure that...
Well, let's check it out. There's a lot of stuff in this thing that we were seeing on the outskirts.
Yeah. So,
and you got the
unboxer of choice.
Limited edition model as well in this thing.
Yes, yep.
You can see on the top right here, so it was a very good find for Spectre Wile here.
Where this was just released in February, they still have the limited edition models that were... as part of the Kickstarter, they included in the box set. So this is the limited edition Survivor model that's included in this box, it says. So,
well, as we said before, you've seen us do Dreadball, so we're a little familiar with Mantic. So the piece is usually pretty good.
Oh, the static cling of a new box.
That's a great feel.
All right, so... Deadzone box cover off.
Alright.
And right out of the box, we'll just tip this up to kind of show you how much stuff is jam-packed in here. So first thing on the top, they've put in a full-color rule book. And this is significantly beefy, definitely on the level of the Dreadball book with 80 full-color pages.
These are nice. They're soft-covered, but they're very high quality illustration. We've got a few of the Dreadball ones, and the colored pages splash at you. The verbiage is very clean to read, not very difficult. I like the organization of it. It's been pretty darn nice to refreshing to get to that.
So full 80-page color rulebook. And this is apparently, of course, the first run of the session. So this is the only rulebook you need, the only rulebook that's in production, and it does include campaigns.
Yes.
So there is future growth of your models. You can play the same gang over and over again. It gets experience and moves up. So like Dreadball, you can improve your team. It does claim to have 130 counters.
So we got a lot of tokens here. Some of them popped out.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably in transit, just bouncing out. They seem to come out of this pretty easy, but this is a very thick piece of cardstock. So these are nicely...
Yeah, they hold up pretty well as long as you don't get any spillage on them.
Yeah, yep, but they're definitely solid. They're not just a flimsy paper, so they will definitely stay the distance there. And one of the bases here for the bigger models.
I'll take pictures later to help splash up on those.
All right, and then the next thing we encounter, and this is the big exciting thing, because this seems to be where a lot of the games are going to go, and Mantic is on top of it. Instead of the cardboard tiles that they have been doing in their previous games, the neoprene mats are now coming into popularity for a lot of games. So they provide a 2x2 detailed, very thick neoprene mat.
Yeah, this is solid. This is not going to wear easy.
No, not at all. So that's very exciting. And as a 2x2 printed map of an urban environment, it will definitely be useful for other games like Dust. You could certainly do Dust. It looks like the squares are the same size as Dust Tactics.
Could be.
So it would certainly stand in for Dust or any other small 2x2 skirmish game that you wanted to do. Even a gaming mat for tabletop role playing, or
so we got a little blood on the table. If you're young and offense to that, that's the only thing I would say is pretty something to regulate out of that. A couple little iconic things that you saw.
Yeah, so blood splatters and some bullet casings actually. So
yeah, that's about the color of this. But again, yeah, you're right. So very, very solid.
Very, very detailed. Nice urban environment.
Liking that.
Map.
Let's check some of the pieces that we got. How well they come in.
Okay. Of course, the Mantic bases, which we're pretty impressed with, versus the slot bases, which a lot of companies use. The Mantic bases figures stand up much easier when you're modeling them.
And much easier to get in and work with. Slot bases are kind of nice, but sometimes the molds on the tabs don't work so well, so you have to do additional cutting. Then you have to do filling to get back into this. These slot bases make it much more easier for younger modelers to put that together. Yeah,
and so of course they should provide enough bases for all the models, presumably. And then there is a significant amount of terrain in here. They're modular pieces of walls that can be arranged in a number of different orders, and I'm assuming probably in the rulebook it gives some indication on how you should arrange them for some of the missions. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same panel, which includes, it looks like 3 walls and then some barricade type.
Or small short walls, I think.
Yep, half wall type things.
Half walls.
Then some platforms, doors, windows types of things. So 2, 3, 4 of those. So a significant number of those. So there's at least probably 3 or 4 buildings there. And then they also include a lot of detail sprues. So these are the connectors for the walls, it appears, which look like little punch-ins there. So they just kind of create wall joins or corners. 1 sprue of those, but there's a bunch of them on there, so I'm sure there's enough to make several buildings. And then this one is actually some other terrain pieces, ladders for the outside of buildings, some barrels, some boxes, crates.
Maybe an antenna.
Yeah, some type of antenna array. 2 of those, and it looks like the antenna is probably a multi-part, so
come together.
Yeah, so quite a bit of extra bits there. Of course, it's a D8 system, so slightly different from other skirmish games. D8 system, so a little bit more range of dice value. And they come with 6 dice there, but if you're a gamer, then you probably have enough D8s already to use your own favorites. Of course, the ever-popular Mantic points comes with a card, and this box has 4 Mantic points in it, with actually a card that you can mark down the rest that you get. Mantic points are very interesting. At the 10-point level of collection, you can get like a single fig usually out of their sale box or their Mantic point box.
Very cool.
And 15 points usually gives you one of their larger figs. and then sometimes even 20 points or 30 points gives you a box set.
Nice.
So free stuff for buying their products. So that's always an interesting little add-on there. We actually have to add up all the Mantic points we've got now.
Yeah.
We haven't really collected them yet.
Let's see what we get out of that.
And of course, then that leaves us with the most important part, the figures and decks. So this box set comes with 2 factions.
Yeah.
The Plague, which is a genetically engineered mutation type thing, which turns other people and species into the Plague. And that is their starter deck there, fully sealed. It's 54 cards. And again, the cards are pretty impressive. They're pretty solid cards.
Yep.
And then the other one is the Enforcers, which is the corporation like special forces type human centric population. They're pretty genetically pure, just humans. The Rebs are where you find the other aliens.
Yep, running in trouble. So the figures are typical of Mantic to come in these little plastic. We're not going to break them out because there's a couple things I'm going to tell you with Mantic that is my only slight irritation with them. One, the plastic they use is very difficult to work with, and it's not typical of normal plastic. I can usually use testers, glue, and get these things to bond pretty well on normal plastics. It's not so case with Mantic's type of plastic. You're really going to need to use super glue to get the things going on. Also, the reason why we're not opening them is because Mantic really wants you to look at the box picture and then try to get the pieces together. So if you break a lot of the pieces apart, they get very difficult to figure out what arm and joint goes in, because they're very multi-piece. Like this model here is without its head and both arms, but comes with both legs. There are other models that you'll add like the single leg to get to the base. Now these will hold up in the slotted bases very well because of the weight distributed, all being plastic, and the size. They're just a little under, I think they're more like 25 millimeter.
Yeah, they're certainly not the more popular long-term game that uses the Epic 28 or 32 millimeter.
And we have some bigger bases, I think, that will also look like one of the bigger creatures that will be on in that, because they're larger spaces.
There's 5 large bases, and the Plague has 4 larger base creatures, and the Enforcers, their captain, is a larger armored guy.
Yeah.
And it is true, these the models from Mantic, they go together specific ways. So they are bitsed quite well, but they do only go together, or only supposed to go together, in a certain way. So definitely do one bag at a time. Don't take everything out, spread it all out, try to put it all together. Because arms go in certain models, even between the bag. Some models don't have, or some models have specific arms that fit in them only.
Yeah, I've been putting together some Mantic Dreadball teams, and you really want to have them linked down pretty well because it gets confusing.
Yeah, so it looks like there's 2 bags of each faction. 1 large bag for the Plague, 1 large bag for the
small one.
Enforcers, and then 1 small for each.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we've got that's the limited edition, maybe?
No, I think that's the limited edition.
There's the limited edition.
So,
Special character.
go play, boys. Go play.
Which they have put in
very special bubble wrap.
Yep, so a gift for your kids, your young kids. You get the extra additional bubble wrap to cause noise and hate and discontent among them. And the limited edition character is a metal model.
Oh wow, so very high value of that. Getting a nice big, no wonder it's bubble wrap.
So a single piece metal model. Flashing isn't too bad. Got a little bit to cut off on the hand
I
there.
have not seen Mantic in metal before. All the stuff I got out of this. This is
in the Warpath range. There's a few metal models. I have some of the Warpath dwarves, the Forge Fathers, and some of their special weapons came in a metal model.
Yeah, this is great detail. Even at the 25 millimeter range, there's a lot of folds in this model, some fursuit and stuff like that. This one's nice though, but he's solid. You're not going to add any additional pieces to him, so that's going to hold up pretty darn well for that. So that's pretty much that. I'm going to have Spectre Wile
and hopefully they remember to base for him.
Slice open the 3rd faction that we have here, which is the Rebels, so you get at least a little same look at what we're looking at for some of the pieces here. But like I said, most of the Mantic stuff, other than that, is a little difficult. So if you're pretty young, probably have your parents kind of help you with a little bit of pieces if you can. But again, I highly recommend super glue because it's going to hold a lot more better. So.
And you'll want like the extra gel super glue, so you have the
fill, yeah,
that it holds the piece to it, so that you get a little bit of extra stickiness. That way, you'll be able to pose the model as you want, and have a little bit of extra time to get it there, and it'll kind of hold on to itself.
So again, very similar to what you just saw out of the regular set. Lots of baggies. That's pretty much a lot of the stuff that's coming in. But again, if you haven't seen on the other videos before, this is preset cases. So Mantic always supplies you when you order outside of this that you'll get something that will carry your figs. So you don't have to buy extra cases or anything like that. The models are usually very well. I mean, the models have great detail. Just you're gonna have to do a little trim on them with the tab pieces. They kind of pre-cut off these models for you, where most companies just basically give you this big old screw and you have to cut the pieces off. So in that aspect, pretty convenient in there, and it won't take you too long. Once you figure out where arms and heads kind of go, it's pretty easy. But
yeah, but again, do one bag at a time. Don't open up everything all at once and mix them all in the same pile. It'll be just a major headache. Unless you're willing to do a lot of trimming, a lot of cutting to make the bits fit in a different way than the way they're supposed to.
Did this, did we miss some faction cards of this? 'Cause I didn't see them popping out of this. So it looks like we have an issue out of this. Nope.
Yeah, no.
So we have to make contact with that. So the little, this is like the second time now. This is supposed to come with a 54 card faction. It's missing it, and this is like probably the second time out of Mantic that I've had something that has a little bit of flaw in their boxing. But they're very good about usually getting the stuff. I've gotten the pieces what I needed from the robot set, if you remember that unboxing video. So this is something we'll need to make sure they get remedied up for there. But
yep, I'll make that call in
pieces
just
are
a few
pretty
minutes.
good. Yeah, pieces are pretty good and stuff like that. So we're happy. This game is awesome. We're really expected to get this up and running. Like I said, it's about a very short running time from what we're looking at. So it's going to play a lot like Dreadball. Like you said, Spectre Wile mentioned before, it's a Necromunda version type of game. So it's going to have a lot of cool little abilities that we can throw together and get things running up. And simple play. And we actually now we have 3 factions, so we'll be able to do some different variation battles between the groups.
Super excited. We were fans of the old game way back, and now that another company is putting out a very similar game, we're right on top of it, and we're really ready to get into it and play.
Absolutely. So we'll get that, and so we hope you enjoyed this unboxing, and we'll basically start seeing some Deadzone in the future for us.